Welcome to the Land of Bet Sports Betting live show. Good to be back, y'all. Chaos broke out here recently in the last 15, 20 minutes. So that's why I'm a couple minutes delayed, but still ready to go. Going to be getting PropBomb in here. Going to be getting Pips NBA in here as well. For those of y'all who either don't remember because we haven't done this in a minute or are new to the show, get in. Bring your bets, jump in the comments, and we'll go over that stuff together. I mean, we're going to go over pretty much every player, y'all. So, like, if you have a question, definitely throw it in there. Happy to go over your specifics, but I know we're going to be getting to plenty of stuff here. I'm going to just get right into it and start sharing my screen here. And then as soon as these guys jump in, then we'll start getting into these props together as well. I'm going to share props madness per usual. So I'm going to get in here. I don't want to go through too much, but I feel like I'm going to use this time real quick before these guys jump in to at least go over what I'm looking at. If you guys saw the episode that I put out last night, then you caught a bunch of what I've already been looking at for this game. I think a lot of us are probably on the same page, but a couple things that I'm kind of like feeling more confident about than others. Let's start with, let me pull up some of this stuff. I want to see where I want to start. I'm pulling up my notes real quick. Let's start with, honestly, this is probably my favorite bet, man. So if you guys are in early, then you'll get that tidbit of information. But I think TJ McConnell's still just not getting enough respect on the points or the dimes. Points and assists combined is at 10.5 still. And if you look at him in the playoffs, it's pretty good numbers. Obviously, let me pull those up. I need to make this wider. Yep, playoffs. He's at 12.6 PA per game. If we look at that at home as well, then we're going to see it goes up to 14.5 per game in the playoffs here. Pretty good numbers. And obviously the under here was in the Knicks series when they came home. Not too worried about that. In this series so far, he's benefiting from a bunch of stuff, including who is on the floor for OKC. Not quite the same defender. Starting Kayson Wallace definitely brings one more defender off the floor when the subs come in for Indiana. He's playing not quite as many minutes alongside Kayson on the other side, and that's definitely helpful. So I like TJ on the PA a lot tonight. I still think this is super low. It kind of scared me from taking like too many other bench players. I like an under again for Obi, but I usually stay away from Obi because his minutes end up being pretty dependent on whether he's making shots. If he's making shots, he's probably going to play 22, 25 minutes. If he's not, could play anywhere from 15 to 18 minutes. So I don't really, love to have to bank on that. Sometimes it can be a live bet. You see him hit a couple shots early. Maybe you like to get an over live on Obi there. But if we're looking at the other guy I would consider on the bench, it's Benedict Mathurin. I thought he should have played more minutes in the first game. I thought he looked like more comfortable out there than most other players coming out onto the floor for them, especially say Ben Shepherd. Even Thomas Bryant looked really bad. And Benedict Mathurin has been going to the rim. In the first game, in the 16 minutes he played, he got to the line 4 times. That was 4 of his 5 points, 3 of his 5 points rather, right there, right? And in the second game, 7 times to the free throw line in 22 minutes. Not something that they're getting from too many other guys in terms of being aggressive, getting all the way to the rim and then getting fouled as well. So Mathurin, another guy I would hope would be playing closer to 20 minutes like he did in the second game. But again, he was sort of hitting shots and then we got garbage time. That's the thing that scares me about his minutes. He saw 22, bunch of those came in the fourth quarter. Don't know if we want to bank on garbage time in this game. It's a 5.5 point spread, the smallest one that it's been so far in this series. So those are the couple of guys I was at least looking at on the bench. I haven't put anything down on Mathurin, but one thing I want to double check again, because if you can get this down on DraftKings, this parlay seemed way too, like the odds seemed pretty nice here. It's not Jewel Lloyd and Jackie Young because, God, Jewel Lloyd is ass right now. But more importantly, it's in this. Looking at the points for Pascal and for Benedict Mathurin, I was just playing around with some stuff. And if you get Pascal at 20 plus points and combine it with Mathurin at 10 plus points, it was plus 330. That just seems too juiced to me. I really, really like the look of that here. So that was one thing I was considering. I didn't put it up. I didn't play it yet. I just looked at it and was like, that seems high. 3.5 to 1 for this 2 leg spread that I can see both these things happening pretty easily. Don't have this like strong feeling about both of them, but I got Pips in town. Let me get Pips up here. Pips, you're going to be, I don't think I have a graphic for us. So let me just get you here. How you doing?
No worries. This is an interesting spot.
You're going to be me for right now, and I'm going to be PropBomb. Just what it is. How you doing, though, man?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Enjoying the most of the time off.
Yeah. Not really betting the finals as much?
Yeah, I had some like obligations to write an article for PicksWise. I don't know if you've seen. I've had actually got decent lines. I bet Miles Turner over 13.5.
Yeah.
And I bet
Now
second
14.
bet Aaron Neesmith over 17.5 points and rebounds.
Yeah,
So
that's good
that
too.
kind of went well.
Mhm. So those
Closing
are the
line,
last bets. Since you got CLV on those are the last bets you're gonna be able to put down on that account, I guess. No, just kidding.
I mean, it's actually not that bad for high liquidity finals.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Are
overall,
you
yeah,
are you are you feeling like you can bet a little bit earlier in the finals than normal since
yeah,
these lines come out? Yeah.
definitely. Yeah,
Good.
I even like the lines are up for like 4 days, 3 days, and
Yeah.
then they get instantly smashed like first
Right.
12 hours, and then it's normal.
Yeah.
Like
It's more like the NFL than it is the NBA in the regular season because of these
I,
these
I
breaks.
yeah, I don't think
So
these lines moved a ton over the last 24 hours. I didn't see almost any movement over the
some
last
stuff
24.
did. Yeah. I think the Turner line moved from 13.5, and I thought
Yeah,
13
but
and a half.
that moved much earlier.
Oh, it
I
did.
would
Yeah.
say like
Neesmith was yesterday, I believe, that he moved from 17.5 on the PR. And I think it's because the
yeah, but
points
like
mostly went up.
yesterday, but like more than 24 hours ago.
Yeah, and the points
Yeah.
went up though, is I think the key thing. I don't think he
It
was
was
ever at
minus. Yeah,
on
points
the
were
board.
minus 102, minus 130. So that's a huge
Yeah.
move. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big move there too. And there was like a couple 11.5s that opened as well for the points, but that was like
Yeah.
right away. There was a look here for Neesmith on the threes. I just kind of wanted to give it a check since we're already on Neesmith on the 3-pointers. I mean, that would be how I would imagine he's scoring here. This is 2.5 for plus money, 4 for 8, and 3 for 7. So yeah, 7.5 threes per game, and you're getting plus 125. If he takes another 7 to 8, I think plus 126, plus 130 in that range is pretty good for the threes as well. Did you have any thoughts on the threes? Obviously, you didn't bet it, but I mean, you probably understand that he's going to score on the 3-pointer for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah. So biggest part of my analysis was like he scores ton of points from three, and that's
Yeah.
the only thing OKC is willing to give up. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely,
Yep.
yeah.
Exactly. And do you have a way that you see this game going? Because I think the 5.5 point spread is pretty accurate. I think this is going to be a pretty close game for the most part throughout.
I don't think any game for the finals will have price that's not accurate. Honestly, like
For the spread.
yeah, a total
Yeah.
spread or whatever. Like they won't be off as much. So
Yep.
yeah,
For sure. Yeah, for right now, because I didn't make the graphics and I don't feel like doing it again, that's going to be Josh Lander. I'm going to be Prop Bomb. Pips is still on his way, who will eventually be actually Prop Bomb.
yeah,
But okay, so the two bets that Pips did get out a little bit earlier, obviously they're gone. Neesmith on the PR, Turner on just the points, right? Nothing else for him on like the boards or anything like that. And he's guarding
yeah.
Chet.
I was
Chet's
like,
guarding him. So that's pretty much it.
yeah, I was kind of looking into points and rebounds, but then just decided to go with points.
Yeah.
Points were going up and down for a couple of days, and now since yesterday afternoon they kind of stick with 14 and a half,
Yeah.
which I still lean over honestly, but it's much different compared
Tighter.
to the 13 and a half, definitely.
Yeah, one thing that I was looking at, I mean, the 2 threes that he hit in game one were just a little bit of Hail Mary. It was just like put it up and pray, and one went off the backboard. One was a step back that it was like, no, 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 no. Oh, okay, good shot. But then, I was ready to fade him in game two, ended up staying away because it was also 13.5 points. Everything stayed pretty low on the props for him. So I didn't feel like fading 13.5. And then when he was actually scoring from 2 and was getting like easy shots from the free throw line, area and then in, I was kind of like, maybe he's going to bring it to Chet, and is actually a pretty bad matchup for Chet on the other side too, which was why I actually, since I'm talking about it, we'll just bring it up. Like I faded Chet not on the points, because once again, similar to the look for Miles Turner, I was like 14.5, man. I mean, he is a 15 per game scorer. That's what he's proven. He's capable of being as high as like an 18 per game scorer. 14.5 is just going to seem low. And like, we're getting a bad spot here to go under because he's been going under even with the 15 he had last game. I instead just faded the rebounds and assists because I don't believe in him on the boards. I'm not scared by the fact that he had 17 rebound chances in the last game, because he's had 17 rebound chances consistently and not gotten 8 or 9 boards in the playoffs and in the regular season. So, and then as far as the assists go, if you're watching how he's involved on offense, there's a reason that he's had 1 potential assist in each of the first 2 games. He's pretty much in the corner. They're barely getting him involved in any kind of pick and roll action, especially because the Thunder are going, why would we bring somebody to Chet or to SGA if SGA is only going to be guarded one-on-one for most of the game in most spots? Then we don't need to crowd things and bring a pick and roll play into this. We'll just let him isolate. So that's why Chet's involvement has been so low. He's not standing in the free throw line area ready to make passes to the wings. So I just like the under on the RA because I like adding the A, and I don't think he's good for the boards either. But did you have a look on, like, at least a look at Chet essentially?
Yeah, I do think now when you look at the rebounds, like probably that's where I would put it. Like heavy juice on over on 7.5, and then unders on 8.5. Like, if I had 8.5 minus 125, I would definitely go there.
Yeah, 100%. We got our first Luka Doncic reference in the chat, by the way. I don't know if you saw it.
Quick one.
We should be tallying Luka Doncic references and Kristaps Porzingis references throughout the chat. So we've got one. Let's keep it rolling, y'all. Let me see what we got here from Mike. Mike, one of the VIP cappers in the Discord, leaning under on the Hallie first quarter points. Hasn't cashed a home game of a series, and Madness has a lots of red for his first quarter points. Yeah, so I'm happy to talk about Tyrese for a minute. Looking at his first quarter stuff, since Mike brought it up, and we'll let's be respectful about that. So in the playoffs, not a bad look. He's at 3.5. If you're looking at fading him, you got to drink some juice, but I mean, minus 130 is at least stomachable, I think, if you're taking him to get less than 5 points. So I can understand that on the hit rate alone. If we look at the regular season as well, he's at 4.2. If we up the number of games, where would I do that? Where did it go? I need to make.
Is he playing that first in the playoffs?
How many minutes?
Yeah.
10-ish, 11. Let me see here. Advanced.
Yeah, 10 to 11. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically season average though.
I don't think he played those in the regular season.
He played 9.8 in the regular season.
The regular season.
Yeah, you can see it here on Props Madness, right next to the average.
Okay, then that's pretty spot on. Yeah.
So it's pretty spot on.
I see from the comment. Yeah.
I was gonna look at like all the games on the season. It's pretty nice hit rate to the under, right? 60% hit rate to the under in the first quarter as a whole. So I think it's a good look in general. My thing with Hallie is I was ready. Let me go back. No, come back. I was ready to fade him, and had a conversation with my homie Nate on the other show that I'm on the lines. And this is kind of what it came down to for me with Haliburton on the points here, right? He took 13 shots in each of the first 2 games of this series. My thing was, I originally was like, looking at the way he's getting his shots off, seems like he's not getting as many shots off because the defense is not letting him get those shots off. But Nate is of the opinion that he's actually hasn't shot that much because he's too passive, often likes to play within the rhythm of the offense, which is how the Pacers play. But there might be an aspect now to this of like, dude, we need you to shoot more than 13 times. Like, you got to get up to 18, 19 shots so that we can kind of up that volume. Maybe you go down and you're not shooting 54% from the field anymore, but you are going to be, if you shoot 45% and you're taking 4 more shots, we're getting 4 or 5 more points than we otherwise would. So any thoughts on that? Because I was tempted to go under on the points and assists. My next thing was I still like under on the dimes, but I don't think I can fade such a low point total for him.
Yeah, they said some like reports that he is not 100%, which is
also that, right?
Very difficult facing Cason Wallace, Dort, and so narrative around the Thunder defense, especially Dort, is like he's some kind of guy that locked down opposing best players, and that is true to some degree. But the way they defend pick and roll, they just put 2 on the ball, they put help on the nail, they double, they do all kinds of stuff, makes the life of guards easier. That's why I bet Turner, because so many times Turner was wide open out of pick and roll because they put 2 on the ball.
Yeah,
he can pop, he can roll, so that's why I went to this, which makes sense combined with Haliburton under. But I do think 17.5. not great for my under. Bet
No.
Online somehow has 18.5, and they are the sharpest books out
Right.
there. So
So yeah, it's not looking good. I mean, the fact that this is already down, like this could be getting down to 16.5 if
yeah,
people keep hitting
so
this under.
I would take. I think most people can get to the Bet Online,
Yeah.
and I would take the under.
Yeah. And you wouldn't be touching an over. I really like the under on the dimes, because if you look in the first two games, he's actually had like 10 total secondary assists, which kind of tells me they're forcing the ball out of his hands, and it's not even to a guy who's ready to shoot. They're forcing the ball out of his hands further and further away from the basket. So when he makes that pass out of the double team, Nemhard or Siakam are still 34 feet from the basket.
Yeah,
It's not as easy to the dime.
it's hockey. It's hockey
Yeah,
assist
hockey
for the
assist.
secondary guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
because
So
even
I still like the under on the dimes more.
even if the guy that he passed the ball is kind of wide open, they tend to rush him off the line. They are playing defense that like running off the first guy.
Yeah.
Of the line of the shot. So
Yeah.
that's why they put pressure and create turnovers, and that's how they defend.
Yeah.
If you
For
can
sure.
make a pass and swing pass, then it's an open three. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's good then. And if you like the under on the points, I mean, there's no more 20. There's a few 26 and a halves. Just on a couple of books here. Looks like MGM and Hard Rock have the 26 and a half for the PA. If you wanted to combine them and go under, that's still my lean. I'm so back and forth on this that I'm just kind of like I'm not touching it. Essentially, I'm out. But let's there was a look here for Siakam. People are talking about the Siakam free throws, which I'm probably not going to have as much of an opinion on, although looking at his free throws, 4 for 6, 8 for 9. That's going to be available on like Prize Picks, right? Or Underdog. Even I'm not sure if they do free throws still. Not too many books are going to carry the free throws, but we can at least use it as a jumping off point for Siakam in general. The thing, I still haven't put a bet on him. The thing that I was looking at for the over is honestly, and I don't love doing home and road stuff, but once you get into the playoffs, I do believe in home road a little bit more now that every game is going to be sold out, etc. At home, 22 points per game versus the 19 and a half. So there's a little bit of an uptick. I believe there's also a bit of an uptick in the field goal attempts. We'll just look at usage at home in the playoffs, 24% usage. On the road in the playoffs, we're looking at, get back to usage, 23%. So it actually doesn't really change very much. I don't know if this is explainable away, but anything that you were thinking for Siakam, and if the home road stuff interests you at all.
Siakam wise, I do think there could be some value on his threes. I just think it was pure luck that he wasn't left wide open more. In the first two games. Like in the game one, he didn't get anything from the three. In game two, he actually made 2 out of 5, but they took one away because it was like the clock ran out for like 0.51 seconds. Mm-hmm. So the prices
I remember that
actually,
play because that would have been a Nemhard assist, which I needed, to Siakam for 3, which I needed, and it got waved off. I think shot clock or some bullshit.
I think there are better prices than FanDuel. I think maybe it moved. Yeah, it moved. It was my plus 170, but I still think plus 150 makes sense for this one.
Yeah, I got
you can look even the regular season against head-to-head against the Thunder. In the regular season, he was getting the shots up.
1 for 5. I was talking about that before game 1, and then after watching him go 1 for 2 and realizing maybe there's something to J-Dub guarding him a little bit further out and being more versatile of a defender, maybe that's going to eat into his ability to shoot the 3.
Yeah, I went with the bet in the game 1 because I expected Hartenstein to start. So I was like Chet will be helping off Siakam. So that was my read.
That was my cap as well, was if Chet is guarding Siakam, then he's going to be open for 3 because Chet doesn't want to leave the paint to be able to block shots at the rim. And then fucking Kayson Wallace started and threw a wrench into everything. So maybe that's a part of it. They're going small and for that purpose of being like, well, they'd rather go a little bit smaller on Siakam than go too big on him, which I agree with. I think he would just put too many other.
I think he can then destroy them on the glass. So
He should be.
I think
I do think
this
the
should be
rebounds
much.
make me want to take the PR.
I think this should be a much better game for Pascal Siakam, like all categories wise.
Yeah.
Like I do expect him to be much better.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to get the rebounds bet in at the very least. I think we got PB in the house. Let me update where we're at here. We can get everybody in their correct places. Let's see if it works. Nope, not yet. Hold on.
I do hear him.
Oh, we're close. Hold on. Make it work.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
What's up, man?
How's it going? Sorry, I joined kind of late. I was dealing with some damage control on Twitter. It's crazy. So we're all good now.
Control?
Yeah. So earlier, just like right before the show, I dropped a preview for Game 3, and it looks like strikingly similar to A1 Fantasy, which like also kind of has been doing that lately. And I'm getting grilled in the comments section saying like I'm copying his exact work, but there's entirely different ideas. But we're still on the same wavelength on some things, so it could look like it, but yeah, like the comment section is grilling me, and I'm like, I was just trying to help you guys out.
Right.
But yeah, how's everything going? How's everyone doing? What do we talk about?
I am trying to get this screen share back up, but we're talking about everything. What was the last one we were just talking about? I got distracted because my whole screen share got messed.
Pascal Siakam, something.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on Siakam. Do you guys talk about just Siakam right now?
Yeah, that's where we're at.
So that was one of the points that I made in the breakdown, was that he only had one post up or post touch or something like that in Game 2.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely need to get him more involved. You know, Halliburton had said that he thinks that maybe he'd be a little bit more effective if he was in more of a catch and shoot role, and they may need to put the ball in Siakam's hands more, which would generate, of course, like more usage, and I think like free up some space. Yeah. So I like I did lean the PA option or just the assists, honestly.
Interesting. Yeah. They have that juice now better. It was actually got down in the odds there in the last game after he got the 3 in the first game there. Somehow we're getting actually better odds in the last game on the 3.5 to go for the over.
Points, rebounds, and assists also makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and as far as Siakam goes, yeah, I think the threes are also very enticing. I think, that makes a ton of sense. The only thing I would like sort of push back on with Halliburton's statement is like, yeah, that sounds great in theory, Halliburton, but Siakam, as versatile as he is not equipped to handle 3 ball hawking, all NBA defenders up his butt outside on the 3-point line. Not sure he has the dribbling skills to maintain possession, keep his head up, and find a guy to pass to as often. So if he's getting the ball in those situations where he's on the 3-point line and he's getting it more frequently out there, could be a problem, which is, again, why they have Wallace and J-Dub starting as opposed to Hartenstein, so that Chet isn't forced to guard Pascal, et cetera, et cetera. So that would be my only counter, is like, it sounds good in theory, but if he's responsible for scoring because by having the ball further away from the basket to start the possession, now I'm a little bit more worried from his ability to, like I said, keep his head up, keep the dribble alive, and then find the right play at that point as a playmaker. But had 4 in the last game, right? The potentials were at 6, so can probably get away with it.
The thing as well, also too, they kind of went away a lot from Nembhard last game. They went him in terms for more Mathurin because they needed his offense because they were trailing, and I think that also caused a little bit more of a spike in like a ball handling role for Siakam. So if they're sticking with Nembhard more and the game is a little bit more, closer spaced, then maybe less Mathurin minutes, more Nembhard. And
let's talk about that then for a sec. And also just because my eyes wandered to it, I did take this under. I told that at the beginning of the show for Voodoo Ranger 95. I do like Chet on the under on the RA. 9.5 is a good number. I did take Lou Dort under 8.5 points. There was some discrepancy in the lines there, but I like the 8.5 under for Dort. I'm just going to play 5 points per game on the road in the playoffs for Lou Dort. I'm just going to keep playing that. But let me get back to the point you're making, PB, which is Nembhard's 32 minutes. I originally looked at this as Rick Carlisle waving the white flag in the fourth quarter because Nembhard played 4 and Siakam played 4 minutes, right? Both of them got taken out at the same point in the early fourth quarter. Do you think that was more like, and then Mathurin was the beneficiary of that stuff? Yeah. I've been waiting for Mathurin to get more minutes in this series in general. It's like, he's the only dude who resembles OKC. He's an athletic, aggressive, go to the rim, get as much in the paint kind of guy. Why he's getting 4 or 5 free throws in each of these games seems like this is a dude that you don't have his archetype already on the court. You should be playing him more to combat the athleticism and guard play of the Thunder. But I think my whole point in this is I don't think he got 22 minutes because Carlisle agrees with me. I think he got 22 minutes because he was playing in a blowout at the end of the game.
Yeah, well, he saw an extra 4 minutes. That's for sure. Like,
I think it's 8.
Give me that, and then I'm going to ask Pips as well.
I think it's 8. I think he saw extra 8 minutes.
Yeah. Go for it, Pips. I could chime in afterwards.
Cool.
Yeah. So he played 14 minutes before subbing in garbage time, and he was horrible. Like scoring wise, okay, but defense and decision making on offense was horrible.
Right.
You can see that he entered like
he came out. They didn't. That's why I still think he was getting garbage time, because he played this 3.5 minute stint at the end of the third quarter, and then they took him out right here, and he did not start the fourth, which makes me think that was the 4 minutes that Carlisle was giving Nembhard and Pascal to get back on the floor, see if they could bring it back with them. If not, which they didn't, then they're just both going to come out, and he's going to wave the white flag pretty early and just say, Mathurin, get out there, Obi Toppin, get out there, and we'll just see if these guys can athletic us to a victory, but out of the skin of their teeth. But so now I'm kind of like back to like, okay, I think I'm right to back Nembhard, which I did, and I'm still right to be hesitant about betting on Benedict Mathurin because I don't think I can get him back to 22 to 25 minutes in this game. Does that seem accurate from you guys?
I have a few thoughts.
Okay.
I've been using lately, and it's been actually been helping my betting process. I've been using on-off court splits. Last game, I could share the link. I don't know where I could share it here.
Is it Fantasy Labs, or are you doing this on NBA?
No, this is NBA.com on-off.
Okay.
You can see like the difference in the offensive rating and the defensive rating when the player.
You're not doing that in game though, right? You have to go to like their team page.
You go. Let me share that internally with you.
Like you're not doing this on the box score, is that right?
Here, go check this out. I just sent it in the chat.
Okay.
So one of the reasons why Nembhard saw fewer minutes is because he was dead last on the team in offensive rating when he was on the court. Like the team had a negative 52 offensive rating with him on the court.
Right.
And on that note, like math, they needed to go to Mathurin. Carlisle's looking for other answers. Mathurin was defending SGA in the fourth. I don't think like he really wants to do that because I think Mathurin's a way worse defender than Naismith.
Sorry, so can you tell me what you were looking at here again?
Oh, okay. Good. Scroll up. Did that not go through?
No, I'm on the on-off court stuff.
Weird. Mine looks different. That's interesting.
Oh, but you're looking at a summary.
Yeah, perfect. This is what I've been doing, by the way. Like you can kind of get a glimpse on who's working and who's not for the team. So like if you do last game.
I'm on. I should be.
Yeah, you're right there. You're there. Just got to do last game.
Got you. Johnny Furphy. Wow.
Yeah.
So what were you looking at specifically here?
So if you go on the difference, if you sort by difference in offensive rating, Nembhard. Well, I guess I thought he was minus. I mixed it up, but he's minus 20. Yeah.
Got it.
He just wasn't helping the team, so like they went away from him, and obviously they were down.
Okay, this I like one of these parts, and that's Obi Toppin. I've definitely leaned under points, rebounds, and assists for Obi.
Yeah, me too.
Same. This is really good. Yeah. So I really wish they had this in the box score on NBA.com.
Yeah, you kind of have to like go through a maze to find it.
But you do. For anybody that's wondering, you do go to the team page, the team stats page, and then you got to mess with some of the filters. But more importantly, I see what you're seeing, and I agree with the Obi pick. Just turning it to that for a minute. The thing about Obi is mostly for me, like once he starts missing shots, he's not helping them in other areas enough for them to keep him on the floor. So in this last game, I think that's why you saw the 19 versus 25 in the prior game.
Yeah. So last game, I went back and rewatched the shots he took. He took 8 shots, but all 8 were kind of very, 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 very more difficult than like an unusual shot. Like he wasn't even close to making most of these. Like he wasn't even close. Like
And you can do that, by the way, for everybody who doesn't know. Just so you know, if you go into one way, I'm sure there's many ways, but if you go into the box score, you can do that. I've shown this a couple times, just to bring it up. If you go into the box score of a game and you look at the shot attempts or whatever, you see how it's hyperlinked. You can click on it, and that will take you to just all of the 8 of their shots or whatever you're clicking on. It doesn't work for every stat, but for shots, it's pretty easy to get to. So you can see every one of them. Little corner 3 here with
this one was like,
well, that's the thing. Yeah,
that's
like
that's his one mate.
But he was covered like very well on that attempt.
Yeah.
And then
Now
look at the rest of
roll.
He was getting destroyed.
Yeah.
Like trying off the dribble stuff.
Right. And he's out there with a double big lineup. I didn't even see that. That's awesome. Yeah. All right. That's helpful. Let's keep it rolling here because we're still good on time. But essentially, just a quick recap so far what we talked about. Everybody's in favor of Siakam, honestly, however you wanted to play him. And I would agree with that. I still haven't bet on him, but I see myself getting a bet down here in just a bit. The Halliburton look, everybody's still looking at the under. I actually didn't get your take on Hallie yet, PropBomb, but I know for me, I'd like to leave the points out of it and take under on the assists if I'm going to fade him in this game. I could see him picking it up a bit more on the points the way that he did play in the fourth quarter. Not sure if that's because they were already down so much that it didn't matter anymore as he's taking those threes, but seemed like he might have figured out a little bit of something. And my guess would be behind the scenes, he's being encouraged to be more aggressive and take more than 13 shots, which he took in the first 2 games. Any thoughts on that for you?
Yeah, I mean, so I took his under 25.5 PA in game 2.
Yeah.
And I was like rolling with confidence going into the fourth quarter that this was an easy cash. And all of a sudden he goes 6 for 7 in the fourth quarter. I wrote about it in like the game 3 preview that I posted on my profile, but he really was involved in a lot of actions where he was able to drive into the basket. I noticed in the fourth quarter. That also could be because it was they're more so concerned with taking away the 3-point shot because they knew that they were trailing. So they're fine with him giving those points or whatever. Yeah. That's maybe that could be the reason why that happened. But yeah, the assists, the only thing I do worry about is that it's a back at home, and that's where role players do perform better. That's always been the case in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in game 1 though, if we all are in agreement that Obi Toppin isn't going to be so effective, where are those baskets going to come from?
Yeah. And I want to because you're asking that, it's actually a pretty good real quick segue, at least just adding to it. Chris here was talking about Mathurin randomly getting his minutes cut. Actually, pretty interesting trend that both games where he got 8 and 9 minutes game 3 or game whatever coming back home after playing on the road. We just talked about the plus minus and the differential in general. He was a -1 offensive rating when he was on off in this last game. So it's not like he was way better than anybody else. And the point with that as well. So that would be a point for answering your question. Where are the points coming from? Not sure if we want to bank on Mathurin getting the minutes to get there and get those points.
Never mind.
Go ahead.
Did you guys hit on afterwards? Did you guys hit on TJ McConnell?
Yeah, that's okay. So we were going to the same place because I was going to say, well, next thought, I did bet TJ. I bet his points and assists combined here.
Okay.
His touches, dude. He's at 50 touches per game in the playoffs, averaging 19 and a half minutes in the playoffs. Wait, what are his minutes average? 16 minutes in the playoffs, averaging close to 50 touches per game. That's cuckoo bananas. He's just dribbling the whole time that he's out there on the court on offense. So with the amount of usage and touches, you also look at him at home in the playoffs, which I did say I'm a bit more of a believer in home road splits on the road and in the playoffs rather than in the regular season, playing really, really well at home. So a couple of those were blowouts. I don't think this one's going to be a blowout either way, but if he's getting 19 minutes and 50 touches, then I'm going to feel good about the PA for him. I think that is one place that those points go. And then that's why I'm afraid to fade Halliburton. I think Pascal and Hallie both have decent games. At least on the points, I'm afraid to fade Halliburton, but that's where I think the points are coming from. And then I do think Nembhard gets back up to 35 minutes or so and gets a few more shots. So that's kind of the cap on that one for me. But I'm going to get into the comments too. I just wanted to touch on this. What's up, live show producer David? Good to have you in the comments. And the reason that I can't support that is because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is also playing in this game. If for some reason he wasn't, then I would be able to feel good about that. But before you put your money on Pascal to lead the game in scoring, give it to me, and I'll do something else with it because I don't think that we want to go that route. But plus 1,300, I can't scoff at too much. Tyrese on the turnovers, I haven't been paying attention to that. Have you,
Josh, before you go on that, could I offer some devil's advocate for McConnell?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So a couple of things with McConnell, you go back on that homepage right at the on-off minus, where is it? I just lost it. Minus 26.7 combined offensive defensive net rating last 2 games. I just think the stats don't tell the full story. And last game, of 4 of those minutes came in garbage time where he had 6 PA. So that's a little bit inflated, the 20. And then also he's hitting back-to-back threes. Is he going to actually hit a 3 this game? Because
wow,
that's plus 240. So if he's not hitting a 3, he's not going to get those 4 minutes of garbage time, but he is playing alongside Halliburton. So it's not like he's the direct, replacement. He does have some minutes, but I don't know if it makes sense to have him on the court if they're going to go a little bit more bigger with, they've kind of showed it last game. They're going to maybe do a little bit of some Chet and Hartenstein pairings, which they had 5 of those last game. If they lean into those more, maybe he's going to get picked on. Wouldn't make sense for McConnell to be on the court. Maybe there's more Nembhard minutes, right? Because Nembhard obviously was a total liability last game, but if he has a better showing, maybe that kind of cuts into McConnell's upside.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of conjecture. I think the biggest point you're making though is the garbage time for McConnell. At the same time, we're saying then he would have gotten 16-ish minutes in this last game, or you're saying 14.
He was on pace. Yeah, if it wasn't for garbage time, he would have played 14 minutes.
Yeah,
he subbed in the game when all the starters were out, and the bench defenders for OKC were in the game, so it was easier to score.
But that's part of my cap for him is the bench defenders being in the game for out there for the bulk of the minutes. That's a part of it as well. I can definitely understand what you're saying. And if he's getting 16 minutes, maybe the 10 and a half on the PA isn't quite as good of a look. I think overall, he's shown he's more capable of that. I think the thing about the plus minus in the minutes too is the in game 1, he is actually hitting the only shots that were getting made when he was on the floor during a couple of the OKC runs. Just going back and looking at the
and it's because he always targets Hartenstein. I noticed that. That's the guy who he looks to target after the pick. He targets him and drop. He's Hartenstein, while he's a good defender, he's still a little bit slow-footed for McConnell's quickness.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's a fair point. I've already got the bet in, so I'm not going to worry about it too much.
I'm just out.
But we'll see. No, and it's good to bring up both points. I'm not going to say that any bet that I put out is sort of untouchable either. So if there's going to be looks on both sides, but let's at least get to a couple of the OKC players. I feel like and rightly so. I feel like we're talking about Indiana mostly here. So let's just kind of close out the last couple minutes of the show talking about OKC for a minute. The bets that I have for OKC, I just went back to the well, man. I've been betting this for J-Dub for most of the playoffs, mostly points, but I'm happy to take the PRA at 32.5 still and just fading him consistently throughout the playoffs. 32.5 in the finals, too high of a number. Couple of reasons that he's been doing poorly against Indy. It's not it's a spot up defense. As we know, the Aaron Nesmith matchup is not a good matchup for him. And then the rebounds when he's guarding Pascal. How many offensive rebounds has Pascal had when he's out there being guarded by J-Dub? Right, I believe he had 5 or 4 in the first game, and then had a couple in the last game as well. And that takes away from the J-Dub boards. In addition, if we think Pascal's taking more shots, that takes away from the boards for J-Dub, and he's not getting very many minutes anymore as the primary ball handler without SGA like he was during the regular season at times. So that's one of my favorite bets on here. Faded Chet, faded Lou Dort. So but I only faded 2 guys on the points, and I'm certainly not fading SGA. So basically I'm saying I don't know exactly where all the points are coming from. I just know where I don't think they are. Any thoughts on that you guys would want to start on for OKC here?
I'm with you on Jalen Williams. I like that angle. Game 1, I faded his points at 22.5. It looks like it's kind of adjusted. Yeah. He coming into the series was so efficient from his catch and shoot looks. Versus Minnesota, and it's obviously now kind of cooled off. PRA looks right. I mean, what'd you get the line at? The PRA
32.5.
32. Okay, so you obviously have some value. Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Um,
You can still get that.
that's
It's really just FanDuel that's hanging the 31.5.
yeah. So I like that. And then OKC, like I think I mentioned it in the write up. Alex Caruso, they may want to try to go a little bit more zone this game, and he
Right.
is the textbook zone buster player.
Yeah.
He's always knows he's such a smart guy. Like he always knows where's to be at the right time, whether it's cuts, like being in the corner.
Yeah.
They always know how to like use him. So it was 8.5 this morning or like yesterday.
And you can't get 10 plus for plus money anymore either. Yeah, I think Caruso is a guy that if I'm leaning into my sort of cap of this game in general, then
that
Caruso
correlates with it.
Yeah, for points. Pips, any thought on who will be scoring for OKC or not scoring?
Yeah, I actually don't know. Like, I don't expect Pacers to change much, so it's SGA party always.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Like, if they stick with Case and Wallace, I don't think 5.5 is much kind of for him.
Yeah.
I know like the win rate doesn't look great, but like if he keeps starting, game 1 Dort got so many good looks, and then game 2 no one did besides Caruso and some Wiggins. But I think Wiggins was hot, so they kind of went with him
They
over
kept him.
Kaysen. So I don't know, like if Wiggins
That's
doesn't
why I
make
don't like any of those guys. Like it's so dependent on that, right? Like because Kaysen, like he's not scoring unless he's hitting a spot up. Honestly,
Yeah, that was
They kind of tried game 1, game 2, some like high pick and rolls with Kaysen as a screener, and Halliburton wasn't.
That was to get Hallie involved, because
Yeah.
Halliburton's guarding Wallace.
Yeah, so
right.
So Kaysen will be starting. He will be guarded by Halliburton. They will pick. Kaysen will be involved in offense because they need to get Halliburton involved. Halliburton will make mistake with the switching.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like 5.5 seems a bit low.
Seems low, man. But I think at the end of the day, it's dependent. Like, the 3 for 9 field goals in the first game. Obviously, you could call that jitters. The 23 minutes though in the next game, like that was stolen partly by Aaron Wiggins, right?
I think it's only Aaron Wiggins and blowout.
You don't think Hartenstein playing 22 minutes though was a part of that? Hartenstein got 5 more in this last game.
Yeah, well, if Hartenstein is playing more, that's going to take away. And also, too, in game 1, they closed the final 8 minutes without a center, OKC. That was like the big talking point.
Right.
Yeah, that was the big talking point. And then they went away from that in game 2. So that was where
that's where they got massacred on the rebounds, was offensive rebound after offensive rebound for the Pacers in Q4, followed by made 3. That was their downfall. So, Kaysen is like enticing in so many ways because 5.5 is ridiculous for somebody who's starting a basketball game. But I think there's a lot of ways that it goes wrong as well, which I think is part of the hesitancy that you're showing, Pips, when you say like it seems low, but I don't know if I could even back it. So then let me ask about Hartenstein real quick. Is there some value here? I was an asshole and added the points to the rebounds last game because when I looked at him in 18 to 22 minutes on the season as a whole, that just looked really good to me. I think we can still comfortably say 18 to 22 with a ceiling closer to 25 if they like the way that he looks out there. Is there any value anywhere on Isaiah Hartenstein?
Yeah, I mean, despite the juice, I don't even think it's that wrong playing the over 1.5 assists. He had 9 potential last game. It's still low because I don't think it believes that game was like a reflection of it going forward because before that he had 0 assists last 2. But if they're going to be involving more of the double big, that can open up, more passes to Chet, alley-oops. They need him to. He really opens up the offense, like being a playmaker and like a hub for them.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I just hate the juice though. That's the only thing.
Rebounds and assists is kind of okay.
Which one? Rebounds and assists?
Yeah. 9.5.
Yeah, 9.5. Okay. I was like, wait, what? 9.5 on the RA. Yeah.
You won't see it being great again on the like data, but I do think this is completely different matchup than any other.
Yeah, that makes sense. Any final thoughts? Because I am getting pulled out of here. I got to probably go here in a minute and deal with a newborn baby.
Oh, wow.
But I want to give you guys one more chance. If you had anything else, PB, that you wanted to share, happy to go through one more.
Do we talk about, let's see. I don't know. I mean, I'm still diving in. I didn't actually give out a play yet. I'm going to try to see if I can find something. I do lean, like I said, McConnell under. I know you played the over.
Yeah.
That's where I lean. Matherin too. Like if Nembhard is effective and the game is close, like what's the purpose of having him in the game?
Yeah.
Then we spoke about how we all like Siakam, which I think that adds up. Like they need to get him more touches.
Yeah.
Case and Wallace could be a potential fade spot.
Yeah. Adding a lot of people have been fading his boards. They were at 3.5. Really not getting any rebound chances.
And then Aaron Wiggins. Like I don't think we spoke about Aaron Wiggins, but I think he's a lock like to be in the rotation now going forward. Now, is he going to play how many minutes? Absolutely not.
Yeah. But
he replaced AJ Mitchell's minutes, which in the first half. Yeah.
Weird that he got a shot. Somebody brought up also like an Isaiah Joe under. It's just so low. 6 minutes last game. The threes under is -105. You're going to have to sit through 2, maybe 3 of those shots going up, though, to get under a half if you want to deal with that. I know
what's his purpose for being in the game? Like, why would they want to play Isaiah Joe? Like, for what? I mean,
they played him 6 minutes and he took 2 threes is the thing.
Right.
That's why he's out there for any amount of minutes he is. It's literally to give somebody a breather, right?
Those 6 minutes, 3 came in the garbage. So he played only 3 minutes.
That's great. Yeah, maybe the under threes could be a look.
Just that was brought up by somebody, which was interesting. And then Chris also liked under on the assist. 2 people bringing that up here for Isaiah Joe, which also makes sense. -145, not quite as nice as the threes, but I don't know how he's.
I have an interesting one too. On that same note, I know we got to wrap up soon, but take a look at Ben Shepherd under 0.5 assists.
Yeah. All right. I need to write this down for myself though, real quick, because I really like that this look right here.
The Isaiah Joe.
Yeah, the Isaiah Joe under on the assists and the threes, but just because of the juice is a little bit better on the threes, but he
only had 6 passes made.
That's what I'm saying. And if like a couple of those came in the 3 minutes in the fourth quarter garbage time, then it's like, whoa, Joe under 3/. The assist is awesome. I don't know how Isaiah Joe's gonna have to get lucky as shit to get that one dime.
Did you do under PA? What's that? Oh, I can't play that myself. It's not on 3 books. The under assists.
Right. That's gonna be a pretty niche bet for him. But then the other one that you were saying was Ben Shepherd on the assists. I gotta tell you,
so again, Shepherd.
He's so scared looking out there that he can't wait to get rid of the ball that he's probably going to make a pass every time it touches his hands. But I mean, yeah, 1 potential assist in 2 games. You're still getting a decent number to go under. That's pretty crazy.
Well, I don't think he plays 13 minutes for starters. I think he only plays less than 10. He saw 4 minutes because it was garbage.
Right. I think he saw like a ton of minutes in the garbage.
Right.
One of the most on the team, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, that was I actually played his. I don't know why I did it, but I played his over 1.5 rebounds last game because I had a feeling that OKC would come out and blow them out, and there'd be some upside there. But
yeah, he had 5 rebound chances, so that's not a bad look.
Yeah, just didn't. I think he had a rebound and they fouled it and it didn't count. So
this is my problem with the WNBA right now more than anything is there's so many blowouts and I can't get an under on a Ben Shepherd or an over on a Ben Shepherd because they're not giving me props for anybody but
do the role players.
Game. So if there's 3 good teams in the W and they're all winning by 23 points per game every game, how the hell am I supposed to bet on a game if you don't give me backups to bet on? That's another thing for another time, but that is part of what I have to do as well. Get some of these WNBA bets down. I haven't actually put any of my bets down yet. So I need to get there with that, but appreciate everybody jumping in. Glad we could do a quick impromptu show. Appreciate you fellas jumping in as well. Definitely make sure you're giving them a follow on the Twitters and everywhere else so that you can to follow what they're doing here. Pips NBA, @PropBomb. That's how you find them on Twitter as well. I'll be back with some WNBA stuff for tonight. And if you're in the VIP, we'll be getting those WNBA picks right now. So appreciate y'all and happy betting.
Happy betting.